On the morning of March 26, 2024, 25-year-old Jamie Wilson sat inside her small travel trailer in Pullman, Washington, ready to begin a phone interview that she hoped would mark the start of a new chapter. She had recently separated from her husband and was determined to rebuild her life piece by piece. The air outside was calm, the kind of quiet spring morning that carries both promise and loneliness. Inside the trailer, she answered a call from Melissa Berry, a hiring manager who would be the last person to hear her voice. The conversation began like any ordinary interview. Jamie spoke confidently, describing her work experience and future plans. Then, without warning, the line erupted in a sound that froze the listener on the other end. A sharp, terrified scream pierced through the receiver, followed by a rush of scuffling noises. There was no clear voice, only the muffled chaos of a struggle. Then silence. The call disconnected. Melissa Berry tried calling back, at first thinking it was a dropped signal. When Jamie did not respond, she tried again, this time with growing unease. Co-workers and friends also attempted to reach her, each call ringing unanswered inside the trailer. Concern turned into fear. Authorities were contacted, and Pullman police officers were dispatched to perform a welfare check. When officers arrived, they found the small trailer locked from within. They knocked, called her name, and listened. The phone inside continued to ring, echoing faintly through the thin metal walls. Receiving no response, they forced entry through a window and stepped into a space that was quiet except for the persistent buzz of the unanswered call. Jamie Wilson was found unresponsive inside, showing signs of a violent struggle. In that confined home, what had begun as a hopeful morning had ended in tragedy. Every object in the room told a story of interruption: the overturned chair, the scattered papers, the silence that followed the scream. Investigators would soon begin piecing together what had happened in those final moments. The phone, still resting on the floor, became the only witness to her final seconds. The question that now stood before detectives was simple, but haunting. Who was with Jamie when that call ended? Jamie Wilson and Jacob Spray had once been the image of a small-town marriage, two young people bound by shared dreams and familiar routines. They met in Washington, built a life that looked steady from the outside, and for several years appeared to follow the quiet rhythm that many couples know so well. But as months turned into years, what began as affection began to harden into control. Friends would later describe a change in Jacob, a pattern of possessiveness that slowly crept into the spaces of Jamie's life. What once felt like protection began to feel like confinement, a fence built not of wood, but of constant watching. By early 2024, Jamie had reached her limit. She filed for divorce and made the decision to start fresh. She found a small travel trailer, a modest home that offered both independence and peace. For her, it was a symbol of self-reliance, a place where she could breathe without judgment. To many people, moving into a trailer might seem like a step back, but for Jamie, it was a step toward herself. Yet, freedom can sometimes draw the gaze of those unwilling to let go. After the separation, digital records would later show that Jacob's contact did not stop. He called, texted, and reached out repeatedly, his messages ranging from pleading to accusatory. Investigators reviewing his communications described a pattern of obsession, the kind that reveals a person unable to accept loss. Technology, which connects most people to comfort, became the channel through which his fixation grew stronger. Each message was a thread that tied him back to the life Jamie was trying to escape. Prosecutors would later present evidence that Jacob had installed a hidden camera in Jamie's residence, watching her even after she moved out. The camera, small.
6:30. Dinner goes out at 6. So.
You say you work at a restaurant or something like that, right?
Sorority.
Oh, okay.
I cook for a
service, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But dinner goes out at 6, so I mean, it usually takes me a few minutes after that to kind of wipe down counters, get everything going. I don't know. I usually get back here about 6:30.
And did you drive back straight here from the sorority?
I stopped at Hootler.
Okay.
Got a drink.
Gotcha.
She hasn't responded to me since you got a hold of me because, like I said, I hadn't talked to her.
When did the officer get a hold of you?
I'd have to look at my phone, But he called me and I was still working.
So
And,
before 6.
yeah, and so I went to silent. I had my headphones in.
Oh.
I was working. I didn't know who Coy was. So I'm like, whatever. He left me a voicemail. So when I got off, once I got home, I think I was like pulling in. I actually called him back, or I checked the voicemail.
Oh, what you got home?
I think so.
Okay.
I might have called him when I was still in the parking lot, but I feel like I called him when I got here.
Gotcha.
Because I was just like curious. I'm like, who is this person? And he was like, you got keys to that trailer? So I was just like, the one my wife's in? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, no, we agreed I wouldn't have any. She's got the set of keys, and I have a set down in Lewiston. Mm-hmm. And I offered to, because he was like, well, we need to get in there. There was a disturbance, like a checking on the peace. And that was all I ever heard. And then I think you called me, or somebody called me and said, I can hear her phone ringing in there. And so now I'm worried because she was supposed to fix the propane thingy, like the propane reader. Mm-hmm. It had broke, and so I was thinking maybe she got like carbon monoxide poisoning, but also I know she's been hanging out with people, so I don't know like if she's like done some bad blow or something.
As the conversation continues, the officers carefully go over every part of Jacob's story. They're checking to see if anything in his timeline doesn't add up. They ask the same things in different ways, circling back more than once. Jacob starts to feel the pressure and reacts with small bursts of frustration. What began as a simple chat has now turned into a cat-and-mouse game, a psychological battle. And then the officer asks a question designed to trap Jacob, just in case he hasn't been completely honest.
What kind of phone is that?
Samsung.
You have it inside. That's the one you're talking about is charging?
Yeah.
The last you heard from us, and you've been here,
Correct.
They asked you about the keys, and you've been here since that time until they started. Did you text the officer or something like that? Like what's going on?
I texted him, and then I also been texting and calling Jamie.
Jacob, clearly shaken, asks the same question that's been running through his mind again.
Okay.
Are you gonna like ever tell me what's going on with my life?
This time, for the first time, the officer finally gives him an answer.
The concern is that we found her at the trailer, and she's not doing well, and the medics are trying to help her. We're just trying to figure out what is going on and what happened and what's going on.
The murder took place inside the trailer park. When asked about the last time he was there and whether he saw the victim, Jacob claims he met her outside the trailer park, not inside. Now, the officer brings up a previous altercation between Jacob and Jamie. An incident that happened about a year ago where Jacob had also shown signs of violent behavior.
Last night, everything was cool? You guys weren't fighting or anything like that?
No, everything was fine. And we were fine today, too. Everything was fine.
Gotcha.
Like, I literally texted her. I said I got the confirmation on our divorce paperwork. So, like, I'll go pay that on Friday. So we're all good. And she's like, do I need to be there? I said, no, like, it just sounds to me like I just have to go and show him the stupid email, and we're good. She told me she loved me. I said, you promise? She said, yes. Like, I'm sorry, I'm kind of needy. Like, I still love her, even though she left me. Like, I'm still, like, I've told her numerous times, I was like, we can't go back. But honestly, if she were to be like, I'll take you back, I'd go back.
Gotcha.
Another thing Jacob has to explain is the nature of their breakup. So far, he's insisted there was no hate or hard feelings, that they were always cool with each other, even after they split up.
As far as the split goes, you're describing it as fairly amicable?
Yeah, no, I have papers in my car. I don't want it.
Sure.
But she wants it. I love her. We'll do it. Do I, like I said earlier, if she were to be like, take me back, I would do it in a heartbeat, even though it's like throwing my whole dignity and everything away. But, no. Like she was telling me today, she was saying that $1,000 I gave her, she was like, I think I'm going to use it and go to California.
Like she was like move to California or just visit?
So she said she was going to move to Spokane and stay with Danny. And then her and Danny were going to go to California. He's like a California native. He's like a rich boy.
Gotcha.
And he's gay, so I really wasn't worried about it. I'm like, yeah, go be roommates with Danny. Yeah, that's what she was talking about today when we were chatting.
According to Jacob, Jamie told him she needed more space and time to think. She wanted a little distance, and sometimes she wouldn't tell him everything that was going on. Even though he didn't like it, he says he respected her wishes and tried to give her the space she asked for. He also mentions that his family didn't have a great relationship with Jamie. They didn't really like her that much.
I had texted her and I go, hey, you mind if I come by your work? I got something for you. She goes, well, can we meet outside? I go, yeah, that's... So she hops in my car and I'm like, hey, flowers, happy Valentine's Day, love you. And she goes, I want a divorce. And I was just like, whew. I did not see that coming.
So nothing was going bad before that?
No.
Just
like,
normal...
she said, so as we've talked over this last 6.5 weeks, she's like, I felt it for a while. I just didn't know, like, if I was ready for it, and I didn't want to make a mistake. So I had to make sure I was sure, you know. And I get that. I understand it. It was a shock to me, and, you know, terrible news to me.
Sure.
But, and I didn't do well. You know, I threatened to kill myself, and I was like, I would never, but, you know, try to pull that, like, sympathy card.
What did you tell her when that happened?
What did I...
Like about suicide? Did you tell her that? Like I was...
Yeah.
This explanation doesn't really add up. Jacob claims that even though Jamie's decision crushed him inside, he accepted it. He even admits to threatening to take his own life, but says he never truly meant it. According to him, it was just a desperate reaction to the heartbreak and hopelessness he felt. The conversation between the officer and Jacob slowly turns into a mental standoff.
You're not giving me any information. All you're doing is questioning me, and now I'm starting to worry.
Both of them start holding back, avoiding giving too much away. The officer pretends he doesn't know much and keeps the tone calm, trying not to spook Jacob. Earlier that day, before the officers arrived, Jacob had also spoken with his father on the phone. Apparently, that call included some important details, and the police already knew about it. Now, the officer brings it up and starts questioning Jacob about what was said during that call.
Gotcha. And what did he say when you got off the phone with him?
We cut out.
Okay.
I don't think he could hear me. I was trying to talk to him, and yeah, it was just cutting out. Then it just clicked out, and then that was it.
Okay. What was it you said you told him again?
So the cops called about Jamie,
Yeah.
and I can't get a hold of her.
Okay.
I said, would you call her?
Uh-huh.
But I don't think he heard me because...
Now the police play their trump card. Turns out they had already spoken to Jacob's father, and they'd heard his version of the story, a version that clearly doesn't match what Jacob has been saying.
So that, you know, we had a chance to talk with him, and he shared something a little bit different that you had shared with him. Can you tell me a little bit more about that part of it, though?
What did he say?
Well, he told us something slightly different, and I suspect you might know what he said differently.
I got this on. Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Oh, me! That's me! Stop! Okay. No, I'm done. You're under the arrest. I'm done. Okay. I'm done. Okay. I got left arm pinned. Dude, I'm done. I'm done. I will do whatever you say. Let go. Rock. Yes. Roll out so we can go prone. Dude, I'm done. I'm going to give you another one if I think you're doing something. I'm not doing nothing. Hello?
Everything Jacob tried so hard to hide was already out. During their earlier conversation with Randy, Jacob's father, police had learned the truth. Jacob had confessed over the phone exactly what he did to his partner. The officer had spent this entire interview pushing Jacob into a corner, hoping to force a confession. Prosecutors painted a heartbreaking picture of what happened. On March 26th, Jamie woke up early. She was a little nervous that day. She had an important job interview with her boss about a potential promotion. By the middle of the interview, she was confident and in control, ready for anything, until Jacob forced his way in. A violent confrontation followed. He attacked Jamie during the call and eventually, with his bare hands, strangled her to death. Her boss heard it all. Her pleading, the sound of the struggle, and then complete silence. This wasn't just a moment of rage. Jacob had been controlling Jamie for a long time. He monitored her messages, installed cameras around the house, and showed increasingly violent behavior. The night before the murder, Jacob had found out Jamie had spent the evening with another man. That was the breaking point. Jacob's jealousy, control issues, and possessiveness all exploded in one horrifying act. Jamie's lifeless body was found around 7 p.m., far too late to save her. In court, Jacob's father, Randy, testified against his own son, confirming the details of the phone call in which Jacob admitted what he had done. Though Jacob initially denied everything, he eventually confessed. He apologized to both families, but the judge said there was no sign of true remorse. After 4 hours of jury deliberation, Jacob Spray was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to 26 years in prison.
Please share it to raise awareness, like this video to keep the conversation alive, and subscribe for more real stories that deserve to be heard.